Hey there, everybody. The purpose of this video is to get you some solutions to this quiz about the chickens. Let's make it a little bigger. There we go. Let's see. We got some information up here. By the time your hen reaches 3 years old, her egg output has dropped to 67 or 65%. So that's this data point here. Hen lives 10 years old, only lay 20% of her maximum. I made the assumption, and I don't know if this is true or not, that when she's born she has 100%, which I think makes sense. I mean, she can't lay eggs at the beginning, but she has 100% of her capacity to lay eggs. Okay, so we got a little calculator here. We're going to open this in a new tab, and we're going to run some numbers into here. So the first thing we have to do is take a look. There's a lot of stuff on this page. I'm just going to clear the whole shebang, and then put in the data. When she's not at all old, she's at 1. When she's at 3, she's at 0.65, and when she's at 10, she's at 20%. All right, there we go. We're going to execute this puppy dog, and it kicks out some wonderful numbers. Mean of X and mean of Y are irrelevant. You don't need those numbers at all, nor the correlation coefficient. The only thing you need are the A and B, so I mentioned that back here. So all you need to do is get the A and B values. And I said round off A to the nearest whole number and B to 2 decimals. That makes sense since A is whole numbers up here. That's the years. And B are rates, which is 2 decimals. Seems fair. So it looks like A is 1 and B is 0.85. There's a graph of it right there, which is actually kind of cool. There's your 3 points. Okay, I forgot that was there. Let's go back to here. No, back to here. So the equation, how am I going to do this? I'll just do it in Paint. Nope, do it in Paint, drop it in. So it's a swim workout I did last week. Your equation is going to be y equals 1, so I don't have to write anything, times 0.85, I'm going to make this a little bit ghetto, to the x. I'm going to move that up like an exponent. So that's your actual equation right there. That clear, transparent solution. That's your equation. Y equals 0.85 to the x. You can write 1 times 0.85 to the x, but that's your exponential equation. Each year, she brings forth 85% of her egg laying. Each year, she brings forth 85%. So the first year, after the first year, the next year, she'd start at 85%. Then the next year would be 85% of 85%, and the next year would be 85% of 85%. You might not believe this. That's totally fine. Let me open up a spreadsheet and show you what this means. Okay, so we'll put years of life for this chicken. That should be an F. And then we'll put max egg laying capacity, milk. And then you start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We can drag that down as far as you think is fit. 21-year-old chicken probably isn't going to happen. So the first year, she is at 100% or 1 of her capacity. The next year is going to be 85% of whatever this number is. So the first year, she's down to 85%. Second year, she's down to 72.3, which is 85% of 85%. Just if you don't believe me, that's 85% of 85%. Oops. Which is your 7.225. Notice it rounded off there. Same exact number. Okay, next year is going to be 0.85 times the previous. So now you're down to 61%-ish. Notice how this fits pretty well to the fact that the article said it should have been 65%. This is pretty close. And if we keep dragging this down, let's see how well it fits 10. Okay, article said 20%. This fits it to 19.69. That's pretty badass. Okay, so it fits it pretty well. Okay, let's go back to here. What percent of maximum laying capacity does the average chicken lose each year? Yeah, don't ever think this. If she's keeping 85% forward, that means she's losing 15%. It's the same as the rock, paper, scissors that we played in class. We're moving forward 2/3 of people each time, which means we're losing 1/3 each time. So that's all that means. What percent of maximum layability is a hen who lives to 8 years? That's our Bertha currently. This is going to be fun. I'll have to update this quiz each year, I guess. So at 8 years, I'm going to use my spreadsheet. You can also just throw the number 8 into your equation over here. You can put just 0.85 to the 8th. But since I have it already, 8 looks like about 27%. She's down to about 27%, which I think of as she lays an egg every 4 days, 25% of the time. They usually lay about 1 egg a day when they're kind of down here in their maximum or partially maximum egg laying capability. Last but not least, Guinness Book of World Records, Matilda was 14. 14. Let's take a look at that. 14. I didn't go down that far, so we'll pull it down further. Aha! 10%. She's down to 10%. She's just laying an egg every 10 days. I don't believe that. I think this model probably falls apart, but that's just me from personal experience. Our Bertha, who is not that old at all, she's down here, is laying fewer eggs than that. So, but, whatever. This is the model. So just using the model and the results. So I hope that helped, and we'll see you in class.